is 5 o'clock. So yeah, let's get some scan tools packed up and we'll get out of here. Alright, so just some things that I carry with me. Obviously, time management. I carry sheets of, a legal pad. I can take any kind of notes. I have my invoicing and stuff inside here. Extra paper, pens. Gotta have your coffee. My hotspot. Any kind of programming. I use this all day, every day. Battery does not. This unit here, the battery does not last that great, so I do have to charge it throughout the day, and it does get pretty warm. So that's some drawbacks of this. I'm gonna have to look into something else here in the future, just because it does overheat, and I can only imagine what it's gonna be like during the summertime. I got my AirPods. I always keep one in my ear. I'm always listening to podcasts, or just to be able to answer the phone while I'm working. Going mobile, you'll realize that your phone's gonna ring and ring and ring and ring and ring. So, pocket screwdriver, pen, obviously your mask. Arizona, try not to leave home without it, but we need to stay hydrated. So, phone is also huge. I do carry a pretty good sized power bank with me for powering my phone, since my phone doesn't seem to last the whole day either. Power my phone or power the tablet or AirPods or whatever it may be. This thing's a beast. I have my Surface Pro, which I do all my invoicing, wiring diagrams, everything as far as that. This thing gets used quite a bit during the day. So that's just a couple little rundown of some. That's just a rundown of some things. So yeah, we'll get packed up. Flashing computer. This is Isaac Rio Diesel. If you don't know who he is, you better get to know him, especially if you're doing any kind of flashing. This thing's my baby. I love it. This bag right here carries my security tools, as far as my IM608, my Auto Pro Pad, the pass-through dongles, some other workaround cables and stuff like that. This here has the launch scan tool, and then also my snap-on, and then these are in the bag out in the truck. I also have the Autel 906, the Tech 2, the IDS, the Drive Pro, the iScan, all those things. But these two bags I feel get used the most. These are easy because I can just carry these into a shop, so that makes it nice. The Assist Plus, this ends up staying here. I do not carry this around with me everywhere I go. If I do get called out for a specific thing that I know this can do, that the Drive Pro cannot do, I will grab it at that time. But it's just big. So it stays here. Get the doors open, get my pocket screwdriver in here. I'll tell you what, I can't leave home without my pocket screwdriver. Alright guys, so it's 5:25 and we're packed up, we're ready to go. I got the truck started, it's running right now. You hear my belt chirp? I really need to get that fixed. It's driving me crazy. Anyway, but yeah, gonna let the truck heat up a little bit and we're gonna go on to the first job. First job is about 15 minutes away. It's a 2011 F250 with the 6.2 in it. I got called out from another mobile programmer. Shop ended up putting a body control module in it. He got called out to program it. He wasn't able to finish the calibration because he could not relearn the tires. There's a tire pressure monitoring system fault in it. But he said that it was still start. The vehicle would start, it would run for a couple seconds, and then it would stall. So he said he honestly doesn't think it's a body control module issue. He didn't diagnose it, which to me, it definitely does not sound like a body control module issue unless it was a security. But so anyway, I got called out. I took care of the tire pressure monitoring light pretty quickly. Finished up the body control module programming for the other guy. And then I was diagnosing for the start, run, and stall. I did notice it was acting like it was out of fuel or starving for fuel. It had adequate fuel pressure. What else did I check? I was just kind of running through it. It was not a security issue. There was codes in the system when I first showed up because the module was not configured when I first showed up. So after getting the module configured, it was not setting any other codes. So if I can post the picture, I will, or if the shop still has the air filter, I'll post a picture of what the air filter looked like. The air filter is a square filter, but it actually looked coned up because of how plugged it was. So this vehicle is starving for air. So it definitely, we're going back today. We are replacing the mass airflow sensor, we are replacing the air filter. We are replacing the mass airflow sensor as well, and we're cleaning up the throttle body. It's super gummed up. The mass airflow sensor, this is one of those that you just cannot clean. It's almost impossible because there's no real easy access to the elements, to the hot wire to clean it. So we're replacing with an OEM Motorcraft unit, replacing the air filter, clean up the throttle body, and so that's going to be our first stop, and it's about 15-20 minutes away. So let's go. Here's our first truck of the day. Gonna replace the mass airflow sensor. We are going to see if I can get you guys a picture in here. We're gonna go in and clean up that throttle body. And the air filter is missing right now. So I'll ask the customer to see if we can get the picture of the air filter so I can show you guys what it looks like. Alright, got the throttle body nice and cleaned. I do have the battery disconnected, so draining the capacitor so we can relearn the idle because the idle was low. So onto the mass airflow sensor. Alright guys, so leaving the first call of the day, I was trying to get out of this parking lot right now. I was there a lot longer than I anticipated. So a little background to this vehicle. Another technician said it needed a body control module, so they called in a mobile programmer. A mobile programmer to program the body control module. The programmer was not able to complete the procedure because there was a tire pressure monitoring fault. It would not relearn the tire pressure monitoring system, so it does not complete the configuration on these Fords. You need 2 keys, you need to have the tires relearned. There is some ways around that, which is what I did. So I was able to take care of the tire issue really quickly. Vehicle does start and run. It runs good. I wish I would have showed you guys. But I rolled down the driver's side window, and then the driver's side window would not roll back up. So I checked all the windows and found both driver's side windows were not working. The passenger side rear was intermittently working. So to me, looking at the wiring diagram, power goes in, the main power goes into the master switch, and from the master switch it sends out powers. So I tested, diagnosed the master switch since I was there, because that was another issue that was brought up as I mentioned that the window was not working. He said that was another issue that they had. So I didn't charge them diagnostics for that. I mean, this is a brand new customer. Yes, it's a separate issue. Should I have charged? Yeah, probably. But it was one of those, I kind of had to make the call, and my call was the master switch is easy to pull out. The wiring diagram is fairly simple. Since I'm there, I figured that out. Okay, so then vehicle starts, vehicle runs, get the window figured out, and start it up one last time, and the sun's gonna be in my face. And I notice on the dash that it says starting system fault. Okay, so that's registered by the BCM. There's no codes in this, by the way. No codes in any system. Doing the command, the self-tests on the instrument panel cluster passes, the BCM passes, the PCM passes, but the original programmer was having issues with the keys. There was like 3 different sets of aftermarket keys, so I told the customer I told the shop they need to go and get a dealer key, and I'll come back and we'll program the 2 keys. I don't know why it's starting right now, honestly, without having 2 keys. Maybe there is 2 keys learned in there. I don't know, but it needs to have 2 proper keys in there anyway. So yeah, that job took a lot longer than I anticipated. It's 7:36 now. Jesus. So yeah, my day's starting out way behind, so stay tuned. All right, next vehicle, 2000 Dodge, setting governor pressure sensor codes. This house is pretty sweet. He's got a runway, airplane runway right there, so pretty cool out here. All right, leaving job number 2. It is 9:06. Just needed a governor pressure sensor. He installed a new pressure sensor, but the sensor was bad, so I had him drop the pan. Previously, before I came out, I tested everything up to the wiring harness going into the transmission, and the 5-volt signal was good, the ground was good, and I was able to ground the signal wire with my test light, bring it down, or pull it down, and I think that's how I get out of here. And the pressure went to 0. So the pressure sensor was bad. Right when you start it up, it was throwing Jesus, I can't talk right now. It was throwing codes for the governor pressure sensor out of range. So with the key on, engine off, it was showing about 101 PSI. You disconnect the sensor, it shows 107 psi. This is with the key on, engine off. The desired is 0 psi. So I went to the signal wire and pulled it down with my test light. So that verified wire integrity back to the PCM. The scan tool read 0 psi. The customer ended up having another pressure sensor already sitting there, so I plugged in the new one, and the new one read 0 psi. So pretty straightforward. I did do 2 trips because obviously I needed to verify the integrity of the wires inside the transmission. So I was already heading down this direction. So now to the next shop is about 20 minutes from here. So yeah, we're heading to job number 3. All right, next vehicle, 2014 Dodge. We're programming some keys. Customer provided 2 keys. It looks like we got 2 more fobics to program using the IM608. All right, got the keys programmed for this. There's one. Here's the other. So good to go on this. All right, it's 9:53 right now. Just finished up with the keys on the 2014 Dodge, and we are headed back to Tucson. So we have about a 35 mile trip. It's close to 10, get there, but I have another shop in town. I'm gonna go, and they just ended up buying the new Altel, not the Ultra, I think the 916, I could be wrong on that. But they want me to kind of walk them through everything it can do. So I haven't even played around with one of these yet, so I guess we'll see what we can see. So that's where I'm heading. Stay tuned. So just got a call from the first job we did this morning, and customer ended up getting another key. So got a little bit of time. It's 10:30 right now. Got a little bit of time before I got to be at the next shop at 12 o'clock. So I turned around right now, and I'm heading to job number 1, and we'll program these keys. Okay, so we are at the job. We are at the first job today. We have a dealer key to program. This was one of the keys. This was another key. So this key's bad. This key does not have a chip in it. It's just a valet key. So this has the chip. It's the same kind of chip like this one. So we will use the IM608 to program. We accept. We're going to do the VIN, auto detect. It's a Ford. Yep. Blade key. Yes. Mobilizer status scan. Number of keys programmed, it says 2. Let's see what the code is. So passive anti-theft, let's clear it. Yes, it's off, yes. Got it. No codes. You know what, let's just do all keys lost. Yes. Ignition is on, yes. Okay, so I thought I was, and I'm not sure, this is something I'm gonna have to play around with, but I am not hooked up to Wi-Fi right now. My hotspot was turned off, so I'm wondering if, because I just did one yesterday where it did bypass the 10-minute wait. That was on a 2005 Ford. This is a 2011, so it is what it is. So we got to wait 10 minutes on this, but I am curious if I did hook up to Wi-Fi, would it bypass that? Yeah, I guess I'll just have to play around next Ford I get with keys, make sure it's hooked up to Wi-Fi and see if I'm able to do it. So we're waiting 10 minutes. We got 14% complete. So when I came out to work on this vehicle, I rolled down the window, so I don't know if it had auto locks or whatever on it. I always like rolling down the window in case something happens, you don't lock yourself out of the vehicle. Well, it doesn't go back up. It will go down, won't come back up, and notice that the this window also doesn't go down. So I verified, let's see here, I'm not sure if you guys can see this on the screen or not. So we have fuse 48, 30 amp, that goes into the master switch. I'm trying to do this left-handed. That goes into the master switch, check that, that was good, verified, and I should mention both those windows do work. God dang, I cannot do this left-handed. So what we're doing, I already diagnosed it and needs a master window switch, but the ground G300 is good at the left kick panel. Here's the driver's side front window. So what I'm gonna do, we just need to get this window up because the master switch won't be here until tomorrow. So I have the power probe. If you see, we have the yellow and violet and blue and gray reversed. It reverses polarity for up or down. So we want to go up, and the blue and gray should have power, and the yellow and violet should have ground when we do that. So we're just gonna check it. It's these two wires right here. Alright, so the customer will actually install this switch tomorrow. It's just got two plugs, two connectors, plugs right in, and two clips that holds it down. So got the window up. We are waiting for the bypass right now, or not bypass, waiting for the 10-minute wait. We're at 54%. Not sure if this video, what video is going to be out first or not, but this is the OneNote that I'm using, the Microsoft OneNote. Took a screenshot of the service information, posted it in here. This way, when I came back to the shop, I already had the information. I didn't have to hook back up to the internet. It was already saved and titled it, let's see here, driver front and rear window in op. So now I have this documentation. I'll write some notes and stuff later on, but verified the ground, verified the power. I was able to roll each window up and down, even the driver rear, by bypassing using the power probe and stuff. So pretty quick and easy. It's nice having this information to where I don't have to hook up to Wi-Fi each and every time if I have to come back to a vehicle, and it just saves all my notes. Okay, number of keys 0. Turn the ignition off, turn the ignition on with the first key. 3 seconds later, turn the ignition on with the key. 3 seconds later. Oh shit. Probably should have had these keys ready. Says success. Okay. That key starts it. And that key starts it. All right. Escape out of there. All right, we're done. On to the next job. All right, so it is 11:10 and just finished up the keys on the Ford, and now we are off to the shop to walk them through the Autel. I told them around noon, so we should have a couple minutes to spare, just depending on traffic. So biggest thing with being mobile is time management, and it's a real struggle. So obviously I knew going into today that that I had a lot of appointments, and then obviously having to go back to shops to finish things, you know, kind of puts you behind. So now my phone's ringing again, so better grab that. All right, guys, so I forgot to turn the camera on when I showed up to the shop, but I showed up to show them, kind of give them a walkthrough on the Autel scan tool. It's pretty sweet. I do enjoy that tool. I'm gonna have to look at getting one here eventually. So it is now 1:56. Oh, and another thing, so when I was here showing them on the tool, they had a Toyota Matrix that needed programming for a TSB, so I went ahead and I actually got a programming out of it since showing up, so it's always a perk. So what is this? This is the 5th stop. We're on to the 6th stop. It's across town. I think it's about a 35-minute drive. Told the guy about 2:30, so we're gonna be cutting it close. Probably gonna be a couple minutes late, but I don't think he's gonna be home until about 2:45, 3 o'clock is what he said. So, all right, so it is 2:38 and getting close to the next stop. My previous employer actually recommended this guy to call me. I guess it's an Altima with supposedly some kind of BCM issue. Don't know anything more than that, and I guess we will find out when we show up. So, yeah. All right, guys, so I forgot to turn the camera on that last car, but anyway, so it was an 05 Nissan Altima. Showed up, and customer said that somebody else was out there. They could not communicate with a body control module, so he had a used body control module and some keys that he wanted me to program and put in. Well, so I turned the key on, noticed the engine cooling fans were running, which is a clear indication of no communication with the powertrain control module. So did my full health report, and of course the ECU was not communicating. The body control module was communicating, and it did have a code in there for the security keys. So needed to check powers and grounds and everything, and the customer said that, you know, he checked all the fuses were good. don't trust everything you hear. Always do your own testing. So I grabbed my test light, checking all the fuses. All the fuses were good. Looking at a wiring diagram, I did notice that the fuse 1 in the inside fuse box over by the driver's side was missing a 10 amp fuse. So for the ECU, so put that in there. That got rid of the fans running. So then the PCM was able to communicate, and it was a crank no start at this point. So then programmed the 2 keys that the customer had to the body control module, and the vehicle started right up and ran. So it is now almost 5:30. My day is done. Thanks for coming along with the ride with me, and maybe do some more like this. I'm obviously not going super in depth with these videos, just because it's pretty tough to film and knock out all these vehicles that we need to get done. But I do appreciate you guys coming along for the ride, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. All right, guys. So the last vehicle that I was at, the Nissan Altima, I just want to show you guys on a wiring diagram where it was missing power. So if we look at the diagram right here, come up, we look at our powers coming in, and we have fuse 1 is a 10 amp fuse, and fuse 14 is a 10 amp fuse. Both of those feed the PCM, and that actually goes off onto another diagram that I did not get. I'm just mainly looking at the powers at this point. I didn't even get that far. So I want to check fuse 1 and check fuse 14. Fuse 1 was actually missing. And this is a customer that said he checked all the fuses. All the fuses were good, but it was missing. So that's where it's, customers are going to tell you things, and it can lead you down another path. And this is where you don't always trust everything you hear. I was told that there was no communication with the body control module, which I could communicate with the body control module. I guess a locksmith tried to program keys. He couldn't get the keys programmed. I noticed right off the bat that just cycling the key on, that I was like, there's no communication with the PCM because the fans are running. So that's just things that I kind of know about Nissan. So that being said, that led me in a direction that I need to verify powers and grounds first. And then go to network lines and stuff like that. So easiest thing to check is the fuses, but you also need to make sure that the fuses are in the right locations. I told the customer I put a fuse in, now it cranks and doesn't start, and he goes on to tell me it was cranking just fine before I showed up 20 minutes before that. Again, if that fuse isn't there, there's no way. It was not cranking. So again, that could have led me in a different direction, but you kind of have to go with your gut, and you have to do your own testing. Don't rely on what the shops are telling you or what customers are telling you. You need to do the testing on your own.